Hello and welcome to a new episode of Coptic Las. In today's lecture, we're going to continue our discussion from last time, where we started learning multi-pronunciation constant, and this time we're going to learn one more multi-pronunciation constant, and then for the second part of the lecture, we're going to talk about something called the Jenkim. You've probably seen it a lot in Coptic, you'll even see it in some of the stuff I'm going to discuss today, but we're actually going to be once and for all, give Jenkim its own right and understand exactly what it does in Coptic. So with that, let me first start by talking about another multi-pronunciation constant, and that constant is Theeta. Theeta. Notice that I'm sticking my tongue out intentionally. Theeta. Okay? So Theeta could be one of two things, either T or TH, as in thin. Right? Those are your two options. And so as always with the multi-pronunciation consonants, we have to know when is it that pronunciation and when does it take the other pronunciation. And today this is what we're going to discuss for Theeta. So a reminder from last time, we talked about beta and delta, and today we're covering Theeta. Okay? So Theeta could be one of two things. Theeta, as its name suggests, is always TH, as in thin. In all other cases except for what we're going to say. So T, it's a T, not TH, just T, when preceded, so it comes before it. So you look at Theeta and you see which letter is before it. If before it you find Shai or Thema, so Shai, Thema or Tav, then you got yourself a Theeta with a T pronunciation. So let me repeat the rule again. So for Theeta, it's a T when preceded by any of the following consonants, which are Shai, Thema or Tav. Do note that I put the Tav in different color. I'm going to say why in a bit. Otherwise, if it's none of those, you would always assume TH as in thin. Okay? In all other cases. So now to the Tav. The reason why I put the Tav in a different color, because people tend to argue about this. If there is a Tav before the Theeta, do you treat it as TH as in thin, or do you still treat it as a T? Okay? I have seen both. I personally don't care if you do, for the tough case, if you do T or TH, I'll personally count both correct, but I always like to, whenever I cover one of those letters that has like some confusion about it, I like to give you all that's out there so you're kind of aware of how people differ on that, okay? So, Theeta is one of those cases where it's actually different people. But what's for sure, everyone will agree on Shai and Thema. This is undebatable. If I see a Shai or a Thema, you need to have a T. If you don't have a T, it's wrong. For Tav, I make an exception. If you want to keep it as a T, that's fine. If you want to do TH as thin, that's fine too. I accept both. Okay, and that's just me personally. So let's talk about the T example first. As always, I will teach you a word, right? So let's talk about the T example. Okay? So for the T example, here you have a Shai before the Theeta. Remember, if you see Shai or Thema, it must be a T for Theeta. Okay? So let's first start with the Jenkim. Again, I'm going to talk in Jenkim in more details next part. But for now, that Jenkim, all you need to know is if it shows on top of a consonant, which in this case Shai is a consonant, it makes an E sound. So I'm going to start with E. Okay? After the E, you have Shai, and so Shai makes what? SH sound, right? So Shai by itself is only SH, not ESH. The E is because the Jenkim came on top of a consonant, okay? So that is this part, and then the Theeta would now, since it has a Shai before it, we don't care about the Jenkim. The fact that there is a Shai before it, whether there is a Jenkim or no Jenkim, makes that Theeta a T. Cool? And then E, this is one of the vowels group, and we know that this always makes an E sound. And then the Hori, if you remember, makes an H sound. So you put the whole word together and you get Ishtay. And Ishtay means street. So Ishtay, street. So Theeta, when preceded by shy or sima, makes a T sound, as in the word ishtay. And ishtay means street. Now, continuing on, if Theeta has no shy, sima before it, then it's always th, as in thin. Okay? Remember, this is different than delta, where delta also makes a th sound, but it's th as in this. Okay? So delta makes th as in this. Theta makes th as in thin. Okay? Big difference, don't confuse the two. And like I said from last lecture, when you only need to put th for both, and I would assume that you know that this is th as in think or th as in this. So I'm not gonna require you to distinguish the two. I will just trust that you know which one you're talking about. However, like I said last time, if you wanna put a line underneath the th for the delta one to distinguish the two, and you find this easier for you, by all means do it. The th example, as in thin, the example word is this. So here, this theta has nothing before it. So if there is nothing before it, remember, it's the same as if there is no shy or sima before it, right? So if there is no shy sima, not even a tav, you know for sure this must be an th as in thin. So put the th down. And then omega, who remembers omega, right? Makes an AU sound. It's one of the vowels that makes an AU sound. And finally, ni makes an N. You put the whole word together and you get thon. Thon. And thon means where. So quick review of theta. Theta is T when preceded by shy or sima, and th as in thin in all other cases. For T, we have an example word where there is a shy before it. So the theta got a T sound, and the word we got is ishtay, and ishtay means street. And then for the th example as in thin, we use the example thon, and thon means where. Now, before I wrap up the discussion of theta, I want to talk about few exceptions and few like different examples just so that you get the idea across. I do not require you to know those for the test or their meaning. We're just going to go through this exercise to learn more about theta. So first word I show you an example of shy, which is what you're required to know for the test. So I wanted to show you an example where it has the sima as well, because it's shy and sima, right? This is an example where the theta has sima before it. And again, because sima is a consonant, and it has a jenkim on top of it. Jenkim on top of a constant will make an E sound. Sima is an S. That theta has sima before it. So if it's preceded by shy or sima, it's a T. So this must be a T. And then O makes an O sound. And finally the iota makes a Y sound. You put it all together and you get stoy. Okay? So that's a stoy. Now, this word is an example of tav. And remember what I told you was tav? You can either put T or TH. So I'm gonna write both, pick the ones that you like, see which one is easier for you to remember. I personally count both correct, okay? So this is a proper noun, so the you or me would be an M. Okay? Alpha is an A. Tav is a T, like you know it. And that theta, I said it could be a T or TH, it's up to you. So we're going to show it as both. So first as a T. So another T. And then O makes an O sound, and Ni makes an N sound. Or you could do this. So Matton or Matson, both work. Matton or Matson, both are valid. Finally, this one another tough example. So it's the same idea, I just want to show you both, two. So E makes an E sound. Tav again is a T. This could be either a T or TH. So you could add another T. Alpha is an A. Hori is an H. Another E is an E. Me is an M. So ittahim. Or the other thing you can do is make this a TH. And in this case you get, so ittahim. So ittahim or itzahim, or both work out. The last thing I want to talk about is an exception for this rule. This is this word down there. Here is a theta, it's not preceded by shy, it's not preceded by sima, it's not even preceded by tav, yet this theta will make a T sound. Okay? And this is an example word that we're going to learn. So first, when did we seen this before? Sima with a jenkim. So you'd make, the Jenkim would make an E. Sigma is an S. Alpha, if it has an epsilon after it, it makes a V sound, right? So alpha and epsilon, so this is one of the vowels when we learned that the epsilon, if it has an alpha before it, it no longer becomes a vowel, and another becomes a V. And then Ru makes an R sound. Omega, AU. This is a T, because it's an exception, like I said. Iota here has consonant before, consonant after, so keeps an I. And the last Sima is an S. So we do I, and finally an S. You put it all together and you get Stavrotis. Stavrotis. Okay? And Stavrotis is the only exception I know of that the Theeta, even though it's not preceded by Shai, Sima, or Tav, and it makes a T sound. So let's recap quickly for Theeta. Theeta is still when preceded by Shai or Sima, and you can add the T as well. But otherwise, it's always TH, so there is nothing confusing here. For the T example, I showed you the words that you're required to know for the test, which is shtei, and shtei means street. And remember, because the Theeta had a Shai before it, it took a T sound. I showed an example with Sima, where the Theeta must be a T in the word istoi. So if it's not of any of those, not Shai, not Sima, not Tav, then example word is son, which is where, and this is a Theeta where it has not a Shai, not a Sima, not even a Tav before it, and it makes a TH sound as in sen, and so son, which means where. And finally, I talked about one exception, Stavrotis, and Stavrotis is, even though the Theeta is not preceded by Shai, Sima, or even Tav, it still makes a T sound here. This is an exception. And with that, I am done with Theeta, and I'll see you in the next part where we're going to talk about the Jenkim quickly. For the last part of this lecture, I want to talk about one more thing, and that is the Jenkim. So this Jenkim you see a lot in Coptic, everywhere. It's kind of like this little stroke on top of letters, and you see it everywhere in Coptic, and so once and for all, you will finally learn what it does in this part of the lecture. So, this is very straightforward for Jenkim, but you have to know your vowels to get the Jenkim correct. So remember the vowels, I'm going to write them there. Aif, Wo, Omega, and Epsilon, those are your vowels. You need to know your vowels to do the Jenkim correctly, okay? So if you look at this side, you'll find the Jenkim always appears on top of a consonant. Here, the Jenkim is appearing on top of a vowel. And so now we're going to learn what happens if it's on top of a consonant, what happens if it's on top of a vowel. So first, let's start by what happened when it's on top of a consonant. Here, mi is a consonant. There is a Jenkim before it, as we just talked in the previous part of this lecture. When you have the Jenkim, then a consonant, so the Jenkim is on top of a consonant, you just add an E sound. So we're going to add the E because of the Jenkim. So if you go here, we're going to add E because of the Jenkim. Mi is always an M. Another mi for another M. Okay? And finally, O makes an O and Ni makes an N. So you get M mon. Now, let's try this one, another example, same idea. First, Jenkim is on top of Tav. Tav, if you remember, is one of the consonant because it doesn't show in this group over here. So, that will make the Jenkim an E. So you add an E first, and then the Tav, so it gets a T. Sima, S, Alpha, A, Ru, R, Xi, X. So, it's our X. It's our X. This is what you do when a Jenkim is on top of a consonant. You add an E before the letters that has the Jenkim on top of it. Now what you do if it's a vowel? This is the tricky part. And when it's top of a vowel, you just add a space or like a brace between the vowel that has the Jenkim on top of it and the rest of the word. So in this case, alpha is an A. So you put an A down. But because that A has a Jenkim, remember the dash from before? So you add the dash. And then you continue the rest of the word. Ni makes an N. O is an O. Kappa is a K. So you're going to say Anok. Anok. See how there is a space in between? Anok. You're not going to say Anok. We're going to say Anok. Okay? Same idea here. E is an E. there is a Jenkim on top of it, so you need to add a space between it and the rest of the word. You get another vowel that has another Jenkim on top of it, you do the same thing. So omega is an AU, but because of the Jenkim, you want to add another dash. And then finally the list of the word has no Jenkim, so you can go with ni is an N, omega another AU, ni is another N. So this would be EO known. EO known. And so that's all you need to learn about the Jenkim. With that, I am done with this lecture. Thank you so much for watching.